Hello, and today we're doing Premier League predictions for matchday 27. It's another double game week, which means there's an extra fixture to predict. And we will, of course, calculate right now, people, what the current predictions league is looking like. And don't worry, I'll have a song of the week, colour of the week, and theme of the week as usual. But before we get into all of that, and we work out what we're doing, we are going to have a little look at the predictions league. So let us just find that and let's look through how we did in the predictions last game week. Now, I didn't do too well, it's got to be said. I did get a correct result in the Man City game, so 3 points to me, we'll take that. West Brom Brighton, I thought that'd be a 0-0. I don't know, it just felt like it, but it was 1-0. Then Leeds Villa, we got that wrong. Newcastle Wolves, I mean, so close to a correct scoreline, but it was 1-1, not 1-0. Palace Fulham, don't know what happened there. Fulham just couldn't quite finish their dinner, even though Palace weren't the better team. They just soaked up the pressure. Guaita made a lot of saves. Leicester Arsenal, well, that was completely out of the door, out the whatever you call it, the pan, out the ideal situation. It wasn't the ideal situation because Arsenal won instead of my 2-0 Leicester win. Spurs Burnley, we went with a very tight win. It was a very big win, 4-0, so 3 points there. We're on to 6. Yeah, generally not good already. But then we said United win, draw. Liverpool win, that's right, but we said a 3-0, not a 2-0, so on to 9 there. Then we said a 3-1 Everton. It was 1-0. We're on to 12. We said 2-0 City, and it was so nearly that correct goal difference. But then, right at the end, they have to score a 4th goal. So that's unfortunately onto 15 and not onto what would have been a very good 17. And then Burnley Leicester, Burnley draw, another shock. Sheffield beating Villa, another shock. Palace, of course, getting a point versus United. And then 5 points in the Spurs game because we got the correct goal difference. And then again, Everton winning. And that's good to see because, we predicted that. It wasn't quite as big as a win we thought it would be. But ultimately, still the correct result. And then, of course, we had the last one, which was Liverpool-Chelsea. We went with a Liverpool win. So, unfortunately, we didn't get that correct result. But we did end the week on, I think, a respectable score of 26. Despite the fact there was a lot of games, so we could have got more, really. So, yeah, it's 3 points for the correct result, 5 for the correct goal difference and the scoreline, and 5 for the correct goal difference and the result, and then 8 for the scoreline. But let's get into what our comments got in the last week of predictions. And that, of course, was the Dugout Football Channel. He went with a 2-1 Man City win, if we can read that correctly. So, fair play there, correct score. Then he didn't get any correct results in the next 2, but then a correct score in the Newcastle game. How's he done it? Unbelievable. All right, 16 points now. Then he got a 5-pointer against Fulham, so that's 21. Then he, of course, said 1-0, just like me, for Spurs. So that's impressive. Then Man United, no, they didn't win. Liverpool won by 1, but they actually won by 2 in reality. Everton, correct score. I don't know how he does it. How have you done it, Douglas? Unbelievable. So 3 correct scores by the end of the weekend's games already, which is really impressive. So yeah, I've lost track really where we were up to. So I think we were on 16, and then we were on to 21, and then I think we were on to 24, yeah, and then 27, and ending it on a correct score there with Everton. Fair play. Very, very impressive. 35. Then 2-0 you also went for with Man City, so that's 38. It's an amazing score already. Then no correct results in the next 3, so still 38. A 5-pointer in the Spurs game, so very good there. That is, of course, 43. You got another correct score in the Everton game. Unbelievable. 43 plus 8. Quick maths, 51. And an incorrect prediction for the Liverpool win. It was a Chelsea win. So that is incredible. Pat on the back for 51 for Douglas. Impressive stuff. He, of course, will be absolutely loving that because it means the Predictions League does change a little bit. Now, when I say a little bit, I mean it changes a lot. But the point is, I was on 500 before this week, and I, of course, scored a very decent score. I seem to think so, of 26, but it wasn't enough for me to beat Douglas this week. So 51, I mean, you just can't beat that, really. And it was 460 that you were on originally. So you've gone and got a very important, well, not important, but a very noticeable overall score now of 511. So, well done. But now we move on to the next match day. So I'm still in first with 526, 511 for Douglas, 37 for Jack, and 20 for Nathan. But if you want to join them, if you want to join in the predictions fun, comment yours predictions down below. You know you can want to. So let's get into the first game of this game week. And it is going to be between the likes of Burnley and Arsenal. And if you're wondering about Song of the Week, it will be coming at the end. Don't you worry. But Burnley against Arsenal. Now, this is an interesting one because it could, really, if you're thinking about it, it could be an interesting little upset. Because Burnley, they've beaten some big teams this season. They've beaten Liverpool. They've got points with, of course, the likes of... They got a very good result, I think it was against... who is it now? Was it Manchester United? No. It was someone else like that, I think. But they also got a win over Villa. They can do it if they are up for it, basically. But you'd still fancy Arsenal, I think. So I'll say a fairly comfortable Arsenal win. Burnley 1, Arsenal 3. I think Arsenal have improved in their form generally, and they look like the team they should be, I'd say. At this level, they should be doing better, and they are on the road to redemption, really. So who shall I say will score in this opening game of the game week? Well, it's interesting, but I think that Arsenal will score first through Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who often does score against Burnley. And then I think that Burnley will actually equalise. Now, the question is, who do I think will score for Burnley? There aren't, unfortunately for them, too many attacking options. Chris Wood, maybe he does return. Matty Vidra, of course, getting the goal in midweek against Leicester. Very well taken finish, so congrats to him for taking that first team opportunity. But for the goal for Burnley, I don't know. We shall say that it is scored by midfielder Ashley Westwood. But then the rest of the goals in the game for the Gunners, that is Arsenal, we will go for strikes from the likes of midfielder. It is going to be Willian. He's been in decent form, to be fair, and actually did get more FPL points than Bruno Fernandes, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. And then we will say the third goal for Arsenal to seal it on a high will come from the defender who scored versus Leicester, David Luiz. Okay, now we've got a matchup in the Premier League between the teams of Southampton and Sheffield United. It's at Bramall Lane, so Sheffield United, Southampton. On Sky Sports, it's a bit of an interesting one. Not necessarily a 6-pointer, but if Southampton can't win games like this, then they really are a bit hopeless. Now, they're probably not going to get relegated because their squad's probably too good for that. But their defence has been a shambles this season, and going forward, they've just not scored enough goals. But yeah, Sheffield United will open up spaces, I think, and cause Sheffield United some joy. So we'll say, let's say, I don't know, Sheffield United, let's say Sheffield United 0, Southampton 2. And goal scorers for the Saints in this first game, I will say Che Adams and James Ward-Prowse. Okay, now it's going to be a game between Aston Villa and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So after that 2-0 Southampton win, I think that this game is quite interesting. It's now obviously another big one because it's the Black Country Derby, or if that's what you want to call it, I guess it's kind of that. And it's at Villa Park. Now, Villa are usually stronger at home, but they don't have Jack Grealish. Is Grealish going to be back for this game? It's tough to know, really, but it's touch and go. I wouldn't, rest your hopes on it, but ultimately it could happen. I think that Villa will do quite well here because we know they can play well and we know they can score goals. So I'll say a Villa win and I'll say Aston Villa 2, Wolves 1. And goal scorers here, let's say Anwar El Ghazi, who scored, of course, the late winner in the reverse fixture. And then the equaliser for Wolves will be scored by none other than... Actually, no, I'll tell you what. We're not going to say Wolves score because they can't really score goals at the minute. So instead, we're saying 2-0 to Aston Villa. And goals will be scored by... First of all, we said El Ghazi. And then we'll say Ollie Watkins. All right, now it's a game between the likes of Brighton and Leicester City. And this is the tea time game, if I'm right in thinking. Or is it the late one? It might be the late one on Saturday night. So Brighton come into this. They've stuttered in form recently. Leicester have really stuttered in form, but they've been so unlucky with injuries, have the Foxes. So part of you thinks, you feel bad for them, really. But I'm going to fancy a Leicester City win. I think Brighton probably won't be able to keep the Foxes quiet here. And we will favour a Leicester City victory. So I think in this one, we're going to go for a Leicester win. We shall say Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Leicester City 3. Fairly comprehensive. And goals in this one, we shall say 2 from Jamie Vardy. 1 goal for Brighton, and that will come from the man that plays in midfield for the Seagulls. It is, of course, Pascal Gross. And then the goal to end it on a high for Leicester City, I think will be scored by the in-form defender. That is Wesley Fofana. He's not really in form, but we'll just make out he is. But yeah, that wraps up my prediction for that game. Okay, now it's going to be West Brom versus Newcastle. And with this one, it's an interesting one. West Brom surely have to get some big wins to stay up, and they have been doing that recently, to be fair. Although they did, of course, get brought back down to reality with that loss against Everton. Now, I do think that Newcastle are going to be struggling this season, but maybe they just start to weather the storm. I mean, they've got some nice fixtures coming up, and they haven't got many attacking players. They might just now start thinking, we got to park the bus, we got to see our way through games. But at the minute, it's looking like West Brom probably will win the game. So I will say West Bromwich Albion 2, Newcastle 0. And goal scorers here will say the first one is through the forward, that is Mbaye Diagne. And then the second for West Brom, this is also another tough one. We shall go with an interesting goal. Actually, no, we're not going to go with... do we go with Diagne? Yeah, we'll stick with Diagne. He'll probably score, to be fair. I mean, he probably won't because he's been in terrible form, but he might do. So let's just have both chances, available. But we'll say Diagne first goal, and the second for West Brom will be through the player that plays in midfield. It's Mateus Pereira. All right, moving on swiftly, we've got Liverpool versus Fulham. Now, surely Liverpool can't lose their 6th home game in a row. It would be an absolute nightmare against promoted team Fulham. I just can't see it. I think maybe it could happen, but I just think there's got to be a point now where Liverpool start to get some wins. And these fixtures are looking quite tasty, to be fair. I don't know. I'm going to say a Liverpool win. Surely they can't do it again. Liverpool with a cagey 2-1 victory to themselves. So goal scorers will be Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then an equaliser for Fulham will be scored by, let's say, it will be midfielder Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And then the second for Liverpool, Mo Salah. All right, now it's going to be a game between Manchester City and Manchester United. It's also a tough one, but it's also a one I think Man City should get a fairly comfortable win. Man United haven't been very good at the minute going forward. Man City have. Man United defensively, yeah, they've been an improvement, but Man City have been good for much more of a consistent period. And, Man City, they just keep on winning. So I think they're going to carry that on here. Even though Bruno, he's going to his first Premier League trip to the Etihad, I just think he'll, find the experience a little bit overwhelming, a bit intimidating, and Man United just start to, I don't know, it just feels like right now they are wavering a little bit. At the start of the season, they were like pushing for the title, and now we just don't know anymore. But, I could be wrong. I could see a Bruno goal here. I could see a Martial goal, but he's probably injured. Cavani, will he score? Maybe, but I just think Man City defence is solid like a brick. So Man City 1, Man United 0. The only goal of the game, though, will be scored, in my opinion, by midfielder Ilkay Gundogan. Alright, now it's a game between Spurs and Crystal Palace. Now, say what you like, this team, Palace, have to be worried about this fixture because Spurs, we know they're lethal. And they weren't lethal against Fulham and against the game before that. I think it was... Who was it against? I've forgotten, to be honest. Who was it? It was... Just check for you, people. So the game was between... Oh, I just can't find it. Oh yeah, West Ham, that was it. And they kind of just got a consolation from Lucas Moura. But I think Spurs are probably just starting to get better now. And they will make fairly easy work of this Palace team. So Spurs 3, Palace 1. And goal scorers here will be Gareth Bale, Heung-min Son. And finally, the goal for Spurs, we shall say it will come from... how about the right back that is probably going to be Matt Doherty, because I don't think Serge Aurier is going to play. I could be wrong, but we'll see. All right, that is 3-1 prediction. And the goal for Palace, well, I don't really fancy a Palace player at the minute because they are struggling. But if I had to pick one, I'd say the new Wilfried Zaha. That's Eberechi Eze. All right, now it's Chelsea versus Everton. Monday night kickoff. It's the game before West Ham, but it is still on Monday. And I think that Chelsea should be coming into this with confidence. The win against Liverpool was a very impressive one. The point against Man United, they've had much worse results this season. And I just think that defence is looking solid, so that allows the attack to have a foundation. And yeah, that Liverpool goal that against Liverpool, the Werner goal that was called off, I mean, is it even offside? Like, it's just so close margins, and I just think VAR needs to sort itself out. It was so much better before VAR came in, and now it's just a nightmare. But still, Chelsea will be happy with those wins, and they need Werner to get in the confidence. He's got pace. He is still a quality player. Let's not forget that. It's just he's got a lot of criticism for his lack of goals, and it's probably maybe fair enough based on the price tag. But I think Werner can score here, and I think Chelsea can win against this stubborn Everton team that can go to big teams and win, like we saw. At least get points against Man United and get a lovely win against Liverpool. But I just don't see Everton getting too many goals here. Chelsea, though, probably a fairly comfortable one. Chelsea 3, Everton 1. And goal scorers here, Timo Werner, the first goal of the game. And then I think it'll be a header from defender Christensen. That will make it 2-0 for Everton. The goal for Everton, though, I think will be scored by the absolute on flames player, Richarlison. Once again, he just can't stop scoring. And I think that that will be a very good moment for the away team to get back in it at 2-1. But then the third goal for Chelsea, who shall we say? Let's go for Mason Mount. All right, now let's go for the game between West Ham and Leeds United. This looks like what could be a very entertaining game. Now, in the reverse fixture, it was a 2-1 West Ham win with goals from Angelo Ogbonna and, of course, Thomas Souček. Now, Souček has not exactly been on the form recently. He needs to get those potatoes and eat a bit more because it's not working at the minute. But no, generally, I think that Leeds have been a little bit off form recently. But with Leeds, they can always come back stronger. And they were amazing against Southampton. They weren't too good against, the likes of Wolves, and then they, of course, go and get a really good result in the game before that against Crystal Palace. So I feel like Leeds are just a little bit up and down, and right now I'm going to say that they do, in fact, get a point. But I could easily be wrong here. I could see a West Ham win, but I just feel Leeds, they've got to find a way through here. So we'll say West Ham United 2, Leeds 2 in a very good game. And goals will be from Michail Antonio once again, I think will score. And then for Leeds United, we shall say goals will come from, first of all, Stuart Dallas, and then Patrick Bamford. And West Ham get their equaliser through in-form midfielder, that is Jesse Lingard. Oh, yes. Now it's going to be a game between the likes of, if we can just find it, it is Man City and Southampton. It's the final game of the game week. So this is going to be another interesting one, of course. We shall see what happens here. But I do ultimately think that surely Man City can put a few past this Southampton team. Defensively, Southampton have been woeful. But we will see what happens, I suppose. I do think that it will be a Man City win. And I think that this could be a repeat of the game that was against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Manchester City 4, Southampton 1. And goal scorers in this one, we'll say the first goal is scored by Ruben Diaz. And then the second goal, assisted by Ruben Diaz, I think will be scored by none other than the box-to-box player. Who is it? You're thinking, come on. It's Bernardo Silva, indeed. Right, then the next goal in the game will be coming from, let's say, Cancelo. So that's going to be 3 goals, is that, for Man City? So it's Ruben Diaz, it's Bernardo Silva, and it's Cancelo. I think we had 3 there. Maybe we added 1, but we're going with those. Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, and Diaz in reverse order. And then the goal for Southampton, I think, will be through Yannick Vestergaard. And then I think that there'll be a penalty save from Fraser Forster to deny Kevin De Bruyne from the spot. But the fourth and final goal for Man City, if we can get the words out, who's going to get this one? Now, difficult to know because there's so many Man City players that can score on any given day. But we will say this one is going to be scored by Kyle Walker. And that wraps up my predictions for match day number 27 of the Premier League. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Smash a like on it. And we will just quickly reveal the song of the week, the theme of the week, and all that jazz. So, let me just look for you. What is going to be the song of the week? Well, I've been thinking about this week, and I've been thinking long and hard. It's a tough one to decide. But right now, I'm thinking it's going to be titled a very interesting song, and it's going to be called Magic, and that is, well, the band in if you're thinking about that, that's the band. What is the song? It's Rude. So, how did it go? Well, I've got to be honest, I can't actually remember. So, we might need to just try and recap that, people. It goes like this. Simple as this. Here we go. Why you gotta be so rude? I'm gonna marry her anyway. Marry that girl. Marry her anyway. Marry that girl. No matter what you say. Marry that girl. And we'll be a family. Why you gotta be so rude? That was Magic with Rude for the song of the weekend. And the theme of the weekend, I'm going to fancy a little bit of Tintin. Tintin and his adventures with his dog, his very cute dog. Is he Toto? I think it is. No, that's Dorothy. Deary me. What's the name of Tintin's dog? I need to check it now, because otherwise it's just going to be bothering me all night. I need to remember. It is going to be called Snowy. Now I remember. It's Snowy. Yes, I knew that. But the colour of the week, did we mention that? I'm not sure if we did. No, we're going to go for the colour of orange. I know we like to do that, but It's going to work this time. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Next up, Champions League predictions.